Today, what we're going to do is start off by welcoming summer. It's not quite here yet. It's June 15th, and summer arrives this year on June 21st. It is the longest day of the year, the summer solstice. And we're excited about that because at least in the Northern Hemisphere, we're excited about this because it means that summer is here finally. In the Southern Hemisphere, it means that winter is here. And for someone like Leah, who lives much closer to the equator, it doesn't really matter at all. Because your seasons are the same all of the time, constantly summer. Anyway, so, but for those of us who live in the Northern Hemisphere, summer is a big deal because winter is long and cold and dark. We're doing this a bit early. The 15th of the month isn't the solstice yet. The solstice this year is on June 21st. So that's the first official day of summer. So the reason the days get longer in the summer is that the Earth's axis is tilted. We're not revolving with the north and south arrows directly pointing towards north-south. There's a tilt of about 23 degrees. And so some of the year, this Earth is tilted more towards the sun, and some of the year is tilted more away from the sun. So right now we're in a time when we're tilted more towards the sun as the Earth rotates and travels around the sun. And so our days seem to be longer because we're pointed more at the sun, and the sun is shining more directly on us. And when you're in the Northern Hemisphere, that happens to be something that feels really good because we're tired of the short days of winter. And as kids especially, we loved the long days of summer because, school's out, that's a good thing. And since it's daytime longer, our parents used to say, okay, you come inside when the street lights come on. And so we could go out and play in our neighborhoods, be in the yard, be out with other kids, and not come in until just when the street lights came on. That was when it was time for all kids in the neighborhood to come back home. And that's kind of a fun memory to look back on. Life these days is probably very different about that. And kids aren't out playing in the neighborhood like we used to when I was a kid, many long years ago.
Because nowadays, kids nowadays are having their smartphones, tablets.
Exactly.
Kind of stuff.
And parents are a little more strict about their kids just being out in the neighborhood. Parents probably want to know a little bit more about where their kids are, and it depends on what kind of neighborhood you live in. Sometimes you're in a safe neighborhood where people know each other, and so it's still just fine to do that. But in a lot of neighborhoods, I'm sure that has changed. But when I was a young girl, we used to be able to go out and play, and as long as we came home before the street lights came on, we were just fine. And if I was several blocks away on my bicycle with my friends, that was fine. If I was in my backyard playing croquet with my friends, that was also fine. So it was a good time. So,
back in the days, yes.
Yeah.
Back in the days, it's just more safer place for kids to play.
Exactly. And now parents need to find safe places for their kids to play in. Because it's close to 60 years ago that I would be talking about for me when I was, outside just playing in the neighborhood. And a lot has changed over 60 years. Much of it is progress, and some of it is just change.
Yes, by also in the technology, the advances
Exactly.
of technology. Yes,
Exactly.
I do love about how interacting in the kids with kids, the real kids, because nowadays they are interacting with their games that in their
Yes.
phones.
Yeah.
It's
And
totally
they're very
different.
good at it. You know,
Yes,
yeah, it comes like second nature to them. They just do
yes,
it. So
they do
any of
adapt
us
it.
old folks can just ask the closest kid for tech advice.
Yes, and then they know the tech advances, and then us adults we're going to ask how they do this and all of that kind of stuff, and then it's easy way to them to touch the screen and all that kind.
Yes, yes.
Yes. All
And
right.
yeah, and you are so lucky to have a son that is quite good at the tech stuff. And is he still doing TikTok?
Yes, my TikTok boy. So whoever here in our group watching us, hello. So yes, you can have the sort of things of entertaining fun. That's kind of TikTok app. I
Yeah.
haven't got TikTok, but he says that it is entertaining and fun
Oh,
place.
that's great. Yeah. Now, I mean, when we were kids, out riding bicycles was about as high tech as we got.
Yes,
A
bicycle and
ten
scooters.
wheel bike, that was high tech.
Yes, when you got that, it's you are rich, right? But it's more fun when when you interact with the real people, unlike in the you're in the technology. So that's why
Yeah.
I do like the idea of interacting with real people. Also, socially, it's like that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, that's
Okay.
good. So anyway, about solstice, the reason I decided to pick this as a topic. We're a week early, but that's okay. Summer solstice is really on the 21st. That's when summer really starts. When we're actually tilted the most towards the sun and getting sun for the longest part of the day. And at that point, we're only going to have about 8 hours of darkness, which is just wonderful. Because sunlight is a mood booster. Like we tend to feel better when we get more daylight. And right now, in the North Pole, next week they'll have sunlight all day, um, which is quite remarkable. And
Yes.
that actually starts at the Arctic Circle. For one day, they have sunlight all day. The North Pole, it's much longer. It's closer to the 6-month part. But yeah, so there's quite a variation on how much light that we get from one season to the other. Like at the North Pole in winter gets absolutely no light. And in summer, it's constantly light. So they experience these changes in the extreme, where, as you get further away from the poles on the planet, it tends to be much more subdued changes that we get, but still notable changes and part of the cycles of life. And there are so many cycles in life, from birth to childhood to, becoming an adult, and all of the milestones in adult life and eventually to death. These are all cycles that we all go through. And the cycles of the planets, the cycles of the earth, are all cycles that are natural and that are part of our experience. But as we get more and more into technology and withdrawn into cities, instead of living out in nature, we tend to forget these. So it's fun to kind of come back and actually look at and say, yes, these are the cycles of life. These are the cycles that we experience, and celebrate them. Like we celebrate the cycle of Christmas coming every year. And 6 months later, we celebrate the cycle of summer coming back on the Northern Hemisphere. In the Southern Hemisphere, they get Christmas and summer at the same time, which is quite wonderful. But we tend to see life based on the perspective we have from the part of the earth that we live on. So my current perspective is from the northern hemisphere. When I lived in Hawaii, my times were much closer to what yours are because I was closer to the equator. But now I'm a northern girl again, so not especially liking the winter part and loving the summer part. So another thing that I would like to talk about today with relation to cycles is some healing techniques that we can learn and practices that we can do to resolve different kinds of problems that come up. And I think, Leah, you might be the only person who is here with me live today. So if it's okay with you, I would like to ask you to be a guinea pig and volunteer for me. Unless you see somebody else on Zoom that I'm not seeing yet.
Sure, I am the only one.
You're the only one right now. Well, then, here you go. Tag, you're it.
Yes, and then in the future, we have everyone. I'm welcoming them, everyone.
Yes. And when somebody else comes live, then Leah will be spared having to volunteer. And I do at least warn Leah in advance. Leah did agree to volunteer today before we went live, just in case somebody wasn't here with us. But anyway, so by going through this process with Leah, anybody who watches a replay later on,
yes, and they will watch us. Yes,
Yeah.
watch us and watch everything, and they will learn.
Exactly.
Learn a lot from here.
So what I would like to do today, Leah, is to have you think about something that you would like to do. And you have sort of two parts of you inside. You have one part that really wants to do this and another part that feels a little conflicted about it. And I would like you to just think about an example of that kind of a situation. So something that it is that you kind of want to do and kind of don't want to do. And we'll start the process from there. So do you have something in mind?
Yes, I would like to. What I want to do is to do exercise. Mm-hmm. Because I want to lose weight because I gained weight a lot from the previous year.
You and the rest of the world during the pandemic.
Yes. So that's one, and then what I don't want is I don't want the smell of sweat. It's weird, yeah. Because
I live in such a hot climate.
Yes. So that's
so one. What's the temperature where you are right now?
Okay, the temperature.
I don't necessarily mean right this minute, but you know.
I think it's right now. It's a 36 degrees Celsius.
36 Celsius.
Yeah, Celsius.
So that's over 100 degrees Fahrenheit.
Yes. And
this is sort of normal temperature for you, right?
Yes, it's a normal thing. Yes. 25 to 30. And then that's the what I told right now is the highest peak of hot here in the Philippines.
Okay, so you're at your hottest right now.
Yes, that is the hottest right now. And then it's the weird thing. It's the hottest in the lunchtime, afternoon. And it's,
okay. So this is the hottest part of of your day.
Yes, and then and in the evening we got some rains. It's so weird.
Okay.
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So you have yourself in this position where you kind of want to exercise because you know it's good for you, and you kind of don't want to exercise not just because you will smell the sweat, but because you will sweat.
No, the sweat that you were.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, and it just feels. Yeah, it feels a little uncomfortable, and it's hard to exercise when it's really, really hot.
Yes.
Okay, great. Okay. So I understand your dilemma. Now, what I would like you to do is put your two hands out in front of you, and so you've got one part of you in each of these hands. You've got the one part that really wants to do the exercise. You've got the other part that doesn't want to do the exercise because you're going to get hot and sweaty.
Yes.
Okay. So picture one of these in each of your hands. And you've got a little Leia in your hands. Okay? A little 3-inch Leia in each hand. One wants to exercise, one doesn't want to sweat. Okay?
Yes.
Now, if you would, just kind of close your eyes and imagine, leave your hands open. Don't squish your little Leias. So you have a little Leia on each hand. Well, let's say on your left hand is the Leia who really wants to do this. And on your right hand is the Leia who doesn't want to get all sweaty. Okay, so name the Leia who does want to exercise. What is that,
Sexy.
Leia? What is it?
Sexy.
Sexy Leia. Okay.
Yes.
And the other one would perhaps be sweaty Leia.
Yes.
Okay, so we have sexy Leia and sweaty Leia. Okay, and we have 2 sets of values that each of these Leias have. One Leia wants to be fit and sexy, and the other Leia doesn't want to be all sweaty. Okay, so with your eyes closed, okay, keep those eyes closed. I want to invite you to describe these 2 little girls to me, these 2 little Leias. So, sexy Leia, how old would you say she is?
How old?
How old?
17.
17. Oh, yes, she is at her most perfect. She's 17. Okay, and what's she wearing?
She's wearing a hot pink sandal.
Oh, a hot pink what?
Hot pink sandal. It's like a
Sundress?
Yes.
Sundress. Okay, so she's got hot pink I thought you said sandals at first, and if she was only wearing sandals, that would be interesting. Yes. So she's got hot pink sandals and sundress on.
Yes, sundress.
And the other sweaty Leia, what is she wearing and how old is she?
She's 28 and she is wearing sweatshirt.
A sweatshirt. Okay, she's hiding in a sweatshirt. Okay. And no wonder she's sweaty if she's wearing a sweatshirt. You sure you don't want to put her in something lighter?
I don't want because
you want to leave her in the sweatshirt. Is she hiding?
Hiding some fats. That's why.
Okay, how she's hiding some fat. Okay, I understand that. Okay, so now think about which part might be interested in saying hi and greeting the other part. So is it sexy Leia or sweaty Leia who is most willing to start a conversation with the other?
The sweat. So the sweat Leia, the
sweaty Leia. Yes, okay. Yes. So have sweaty Leia speak up and say hello to sexy Leia.
Hello, my dear.
Oh, hello, my dear. Okay, so and this is sweaty Leia. Okay, now what would sexy Leia reply?
Hi. That's how she talks.
Okay.
Okay. Shy.
She doesn't say much. Okay. So back to sweaty Leia. Have her continue the conversation. Does she have something that she wants to tell sexy Leia? Or ask sexy Leia?
Okay. Don't eat too much. Don't eat too much because you're going to be a look like me. So stay what you are right now. And then have continue your diet.
Okay. Yes. That's good. Now, how does sexy Leia respond to this advice?
Oh, yes, thank you. And I will continue my healthy diet.
Okay.
For a healthier me.
Okay. So now that they have shared that one little bit, is there anything else that either one would like to say to the other?
Sexy Leia. Sexy Leia would say, don't think too much of your fat or your body because you're awesome as it is.
Aha. That's very wise, isn't it, from Sexy Leia? Okay, and how does Sweaty Leia respond to that?
Just a smile and thank
Just
you. Smile and
okay.
thank you.
Okay, so now that you have heard both of these two parts of you speaking, does it still sound like they are in conflict, or does it sound like they understand each other's values and each other's positions?
They understand each other's position.
Yeah, they do
Yes,
understand each
yes,
other, don't they? So,
yes.
how about taking your two hands and putting them more close together? Okay, so they can continue that friendship and continue to build that friendship side by side. So instead of working against each other, as they have been, like you want to exercise but you don't want to sweat, they can perhaps continue this conversation when we're through and just make friends and come up with a solution to this problem. Because we don't need the solution right now. They can probably come up with a solution and you will just know when they found it. Does
Yes,
that sound good?
yes, that sounds good.
Okay. So what we've just done is see how your two parts can talk to each other and actually recognize that they're not nearly as far apart as you thought they were. And you can sort of give them the job of, just figure this out between yourselves and let me know when you've decided what you want to do.
Yes, yes,
And so what seemed like a split between two parts can be worked out by the same way as we would do it if it was actually two people, getting them together in a room to understand each other a little bit and to work out their problems. So,
yes,
and we didn't plan any of this, right? Except that you
yes,
said you would do it. I didn't even ask you what you were going to talk about.
yes,
Um,
yes.
and so, do you still feel like there's a conflict?
I haven't feel it because I do. It came up to my mind how they talk, how the conversation it is. So um, the majority is the kindness of what you really want from your body. So the ones that says that she is sexy, that's the time that I am sexy.
Uh
I'm, a-
huh.
I'm
Uh
yes,
huh.
yes. And then this is the time that the old the house that's the old that I am right now. So that's when the kindness for each other. It should be there.
Yes. And both of them was kind and complimentary to the other. It wasn't just one. It wasn't just
Yes,
the old one saying that the sexy one looked good. The sexy
yes,
one
yes,
was also,
yes.
advising the sweaty one not to worry
This
about
one,
her
yes,
fat, that she doesn't have
yes,
to
yes.
hide. So,
Yes, but the confidence from
sure.
this old from here, that this is shy one. Although she is sexy, but she is shy. That's
Well,
me
that's
way
right.
back then.
That's right.
Yes.
So, so what one thing that you might look at doing, since we know what the conflict is there a way somewhere in the Philippines that you can do exercise that wouldn't make you hot and sweaty? What is swimming an option?
Yes, you may an option and some the gym that is air conditioned, some kind of that kind of stuff. So that's why that's the
Yeah.
options. But it's there's a lot of option I think, but the only thing is um how can the confident that you're going to do it. So that's why we are hesitant I know there's a time of your life that you want to do something, but you're not confident enough to do those things. So
Okay, so then you and I are going to have some appointments about your confidence. We can do that separately because you have access to me all of the time. So we'll work on
yeah.
that. We'll work on giving Leah some more confidence.
Yes, that's why.
Okay.
Okay.
So anyway, this was just a really quick little session, a little demonstration on how really easy it can be to work through some problems that might have you stuck. But if you have somebody who knows how to lead a conversation and help you find your conflict, that you can actually have it resolved pretty easily. So that's what this was
Yes.
all about. And it fit in with our theme with cycles, because of course these are two different parts of Leah in her cycle of life. There's the young teenage Leah, when Leah was at her peak sexually, and it looked great, that young sexy little figure that we all had for a while, and then it
Yes.
gets a little chubbier. And yeah, and
Yes.
since society values the appearance of the young little sexy one, then we always want to, we imagine that that's the only way that we really look good. And that's not entirely true. And it's something that we need to work with throughout life. But thank you for volunteering, Leah. Was it hard? Was it hard, or was it fun?
It was fun.
Yeah.
It was not hard because I know exactly the pain points that I am right now, and
Mm-hmm.
and when you said to me that what's the particular part of the life that you want, this struggle, it's like that. So that's the real thing that I have right now because I'm trying to resolve it.
Okay.
So it's
Well,
funny. Yes, some people will say it's not quite deep, but yes, we're all have some kinds of problems and all kinds of
exactly. And we're
that's
all in
it. There's
different
us.
parts of our cycles. We're all in different parts of our journey.
Yes,
And so, yeah, we're in
yeah,
different places. Just like
yes.
we're
So
in
that
different places on the planet. We're in
right
different
now,
places
yeah.
in our place in the cycles of our own life.
Yeah, so that's
So,
one. So I'm hesitant to talk about it, but I am thinking how to resolve it. But it's funny that it's very timely how we talk about like this.
yeah,
And
isn't
yes,
it?
isn't it? Yes,
Yes,
because it's really our creator done this kind of stuff that saying things like this, and you want to let it out so that you resolve it. So thanks for
exactly.
this.
Oh,
Thanks
you're
for
very
this.
welcome. You're very
Yeah.
welcome. And we can do this at any time. Remember that you have access full time to a coach. Not everybody does. So take,
Yes,
take
yes,
advantage. I take advantage of your talents in a good way, and you're welcome to take advantage of my talents. And I know
yes,
that would only be in a good way.
yes.
So, so this has been fun, and it's basically what I had planned today. I had hoped that there would be a few different people in the audience, and we could have gone through different kinds of procedures. But we got that done, and that was wonderful. And I have another question that I would like to bring up to the group, and we'll post this in the group too. But I am noticing that we're not getting great attendance at these live events. And so I'd like to make a couple suggestions around this and requests for information. One of the things that I did in the summer was say that I was going to change them from a week to a day, because I know that people in the summer want to take more time off. And, hey, it gives you and I an opportunity to take a little time off too. So we went from a week long live events to just 1 day live events. And what I'm seeing is that, yes, I was right, unfortunately, and we're not getting a lot of live attendance. And so I'm wondering whether people even want live events, whether they want something once a month that has a subject, or would it perhaps be more useful for more people, or would like a person or two show up at different times if we just had live office hours that we could also do on Zoom or through Facebook. So what I was thinking is possibly instead of doing a live event on a particular subject once a month, perhaps we could do like bi-weekly live events where people could just come to us and ask whatever questions or have whatever chat they would like to have. So that's an option that I put out there for people. Would you prefer to have, and we could call them live office hours. And so that's an option we can do. And we can do them once a month, or we can do them bi-weekly. Or would you prefer to just continue to have live events that we put on once a month and please indicate what duration of time you would like to have. Do you like the fact that we're doing 1 day, or would you like to have 2 or more days, 2 to 5 days? So what I would like to do is really invite your participation in helping us design what these live events are, so that we can serve you better. Hopefully we'll get more attendees, because it's a whole lot more fun to do these live when we are talking to somebody. It feels a little bit strange for me to just be talking to Leah, who's the only one in the group who does not have fibromyalgia, about these healing things. So it would be wonderful for me to have someone to interact with. And so anyway, I want to make these live events more useful to you, something that you feel more like you would like to attend. So that's the question that I'm putting out to you, and we'll put it in the survey as well. How would you like us to be doing live events? How often would you like us to be doing live events? Would you like us to have a topic and like a presentation that we're ready to give? And as you can tell today, the presentation was very, very informal and casual. So we can do that, or we can present something, we can do or we can just do it on whatever subjects come up live with whoever attends. So I put that before you, and we will also put it in the comments. So thank you for this. It's been fun for us today, and I hope that it is useful to you too, or at least provides you with a little hint of how coaching can help you and how it can be so very simple. But it's only simple once you see it. It's only simple once you've tried it. And so if you're sitting there with a conflict, it's not very simple at all. So anyway, what I'm trying to show you is the benefits of coaching, the benefits of learning to heal yourself. And that's what today it was supposed to be about. And it's what all of these live sessions really are supposed to be about. So your input is invited. But for now, we will close this live broadcast, and we will talk to you all soon.